friends, and welcome to the On the Table podcast. And yes, I know what you're thinking. It's another Christian podcast. You're probably sick and tired of them, but it's okay. We're back with a brand new podcast, and On the Table essentially is all about each week we're going to bring different Christians together to discuss the matters which are on the table. The aim for this podcast is really to help you not simply think Christian things, but rather how do we turn what we believe into action. So essentially, it's how as Christians we can take the theological truths we profess and believe and apply them to everyday life. And yes, you're glad to know it's not just me on the table today. We have a group of people I'm going to introduce now. And the first person we have all the way from East London, standing at 5'9", weighing 75 kg.
I'm definitely 6 foot.
5'9".
I'm definitely 6 foot. I'm Raphael. I'm 6 foot from East London.
Wow. Whereabouts in East London are you from?
Dagenham.
That's Essex.
No, it's East London.
It's definitely Essex.
It's definitely
do you have red buses?
Of London. Yes, we do actually.
Oh.
Many.
I wouldn't know. I'm not.
You're from Birmingham.
Yeah,
you can't speak about London.
I don't know why I'm coming for your city. Well, okay. Next on the table we have. My mom raised me better than to say women's height and weight, so I'm going to let her introduce herself. She's everyone's favorite auntie from Jamaica.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm
Sonja.
shaking. You can't see me doing my shimmy. But yeah, Sonja from, Jamaica via London, now in Manny. So, let's say international. And I was wondering how many times you were actually going to say the word podcast in your intro. Like
it's the first
15
one.
times.
You got to let them know.
Podcast.
And last but not least, we have the one and only Susanna.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
I'm Susanna from Stockport.
Well,
and that's about it.
That's about it. Well, nice to meet you guys. First and foremost, how are we all doing? How do we feel to be the very first guests on the podcast? What are our initial thoughts?
I am honoured, actually.
Yes, it is.
I'm excited.
Wow. How are our weeks? How are our weeks gone?
It's been long, but it's been blessed. That's all I'm going to say.
Fair enough. So we will jump straight in. And how this new podcast is going to work is each and every episode, we're going to start off with a game. And the aim is every week, the contestants on the table are going to compete in a leaderboard. And the team with the highest score at the very end is going to get a prize. Right? This is where we're meant to say, ooh. Let's try it again. The team at the end is going to get a prize.
Ooh.
Thank you so much for indulging.
We should have harmonised. Oh, you should have.
So how the game's going to work, it's a game of Taboo, right? If you guys played Taboo before?
No.
So there is a word you need to get the rest of your team to guess, and there are 5 words which are taboo that you will see on the screen. So you have 1 minute as a team to get as many right. So who's going to be describing for you?
I'll do it.
You're going to describe?
Yeah.
I don't like
your team
losing.
don't have confidence
I don't
in
like
you.
losing.
Neither do I.
So
Okay.
it's Bible taboo. These are words in the Bible, right? So
I should not have said that with how much.
it's going to be so embarrassing.
With your whole chest.
If I can't, it's going to be really awkward.
So there's going to be a word at the top. The word at the top in bold is what you need to get your team to guess.
Okay.
You can't do it rhymes with, it begins with, it starts with the letter.
So
you need to
articulate.
just articulate, essentially. And the words below are words you cannot use. If you use them, it's taboo.
Okay.
All right, do you get it? Are you
right,
ready?
yeah.
Are you
So
confident?
it's all biblical references,
All
right?
biblical references, yeah.
Okay.
All right, you ready, Raph?
Oh, yeah, let's go.
You have a minute starting with the first word.
When?
Starting now.
I've come to give you in...
Life?
No, the other one. That passes all understanding.
Peace.
A peace.
Yeah.
Okay.
The guy that was killing all the babies when Jesus was born.
Herod.
Yeah.
Taboo.
Send your...
Reign.
Yeah.
Power.
Yeah,
Oh.
the first one. Provider.
Jehovah, Jireh.
There you go.
Love it.
Yes.
Something of peace.
Prince of
Taboo
Peace.
is taboo.
Oh.
Men. When Jesus was born.
Why are you looking at Susanna?
When Jesus was born,
Why am I saying Christmas?
the three...
Wise men.
There you go. What did they say when Jesus came into Jerusalem on the donkey?
Son of
Hosanna,
David.
Hosanna.
That's it.
No, not Hosanna.
Error.
No, okay. Weapon used to kill a... No, taboo.
You need to be better. You need to be better.
Oh my goodness.
5 seconds left.
No, my goodness.
Five,
The pressure.
4, 3, 2, and that is
There's so many, but like because of the words you can't say, I didn't know how to
what
say
was
them.
that
Yikes.
Hallelujah. I didn't know how to say hallelujah. You couldn't say praise. You couldn't say praise. I just didn't know how to say hallelujah.
The
And-
highest offering ascribed unto God.
or I sing a...
I should have sang a song.
You
should have sang a song.
I should have sang a song.
But you didn't. And the results are
Results.
in. What did I say?
Results. You said results.
I'm from Birmingham. Okay, we say results.
Birmingham.
That's my excuse for everything.
So how do you say Alton Towers is a what?
Theme park. Resort?
Yeah.
Theme park resort. Am I saying it wrong? Is it just
Resort.
No, it's a resort, but you were meant to say result. Right?
The results are in.
That's
All right.
hilarious.
The producer is just let me know what you guys scored as a team. You're the very first one, so there's no pressure really to put on you. But you've set the standard for the rest of the team. So in 1 minute, you were able to get 3.
You sure it wasn't
correct
I felt like it was
answers.
5.
There were some taboo ones that I had to remove.
Oh.
So you got 3. Hey, it's not too bad.
So it's
you might.
Raph's fault.
It's Raph's fault.
No, but you know,
Let's not
it's
talk
3 is
about
a
it.
holy number. 3 is a holy number.
Yeah.
I
Some
guess so.
5,
So anyone
7,
who gets...
you know, higher ones. But hey,
See, I would normally come at you a little bit for the 3, but I'm scared because I know that if I do this, it's going to be awful. Are we all doing this, or is it just...
No.
it's just Raph.
Okay,
This is
that's
your
fine.
entry
Well,
for
yeah,
this
then
week.
3 was just shocking. That was awful.
There's no condemnation in Christ.
There is in this game.
There is in
There
this
is in
game?
this
Oh,
game.
okay, sorry.
Yeah, you're
I didn't know.
condemned.
I didn't know there was Christians at the table. I didn't know.
Snap. Okay, but we're gonna move right on. So when you guys are on the future episode, you have a chance to rectify this poor score.
I don't think it was poor.
3 in a minute.
Shocking.
Yikes. But anyway, swiftly moving on. So we're going to discuss the topic which is on the table today. So we're talking about today about Christians and entertainment. And we live in a time where we are just inundated with entertainment. There are all these different services and we're really sport for choice. Whether it's movies, we have Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime. If it's music, we have Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music. If it's social media, we have TikTok, Vine, Instagram. We have all these different things. And especially because of the times we're in COVID, we all have a lot more free time to kind of indulge in all these different things. So now more than ever, I think it's quite important that we have these discussions about how as Christians we navigate the world of entertainment. So with all that being said, all the admin out of the way, what are our initial thoughts when we think of how Christians should interact with media, entertainment, music? What is the initial things that come to your mind? Any takers?
I just think of how much I don't actually indulge. I mean, I don't have a TV in my house.
You don't have a TV?
I don't.
2020.
I know. Once Khalil moved out, I got rid of the TV because
Wow.
I don't watch it. I don't really listen to music that much anymore. I mean, I listen to a lot of worship, but so that's why I was just, when we were talking earlier about, what's entertainment, I read a lot. So I have a lot of books. That's the source of my
And is that like a
entertainment.
personal decision or just something you've always...
It's just something that I've always been into, to be honest with you. I just, I feel like, I don't know. I used to watch television a lot at one point, and then when I got saved, certain convictions came up about what I was watching, and then so I kind of stepped away from a lot of stuff. So I kind of, you'll find me in a book.
Okay, so we can park that point there.
That,
Yeah, we'll come back to it, huh? We aren't going to forget you, Raph. Susanna, what are your kind of initial thoughts?
I think you said something about, us being in COVID and how do we kind of navigate all these different streams with all our free time.
Yeah.
Why not take the opportunity of free time and use that to kind of explore your faith even more?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we I think sometimes we don't see the opportunities that we have where God's saying, you've got this time, spend it with me. And the first thing we kind of go to is feeding our flesh and satisfying
We're going
that.
there, huh? Jumping straight there.
I'm jumping straight there.
Go
So I think it's great that you don't have a TV because I don't have that kind of discipline where I can just say, I've got time. Like the first thing I want to do is get lazy, kick back and just zone out when I finish work and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think taking that away, then it
Dash your
maximizes.
TVs out. No TV
I'm going
license.
home when I'm
Auntie Sonja said it here first. Gotta get rid of your TV. All right, Raph, over to you.
I mean, whoa. I have a TV. No, I feel like with anything as a Christian, you just have to know when enough is enough. Mm-hmm. So I think when we think of entertainment, we think of, like you said, Netflix, Amazon Prime, TV, music, all these things. And if we're talking in a secular sense, I think it's okay to consume it. Just you have to know when it's enough and when it's becoming detrimental to your walk with Christ. Mm-hmm. But I think I encourage Christians to engage with like secularism or secular entertainment. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Some daggers around the some eyes. I promise you.
I felt the chill.
No, because I feel like kind of what I said over there in the sense that if we're called to change culture, to create or to bring kingdom culture to earth, as unfortunate as it is, we know that's not the culture on earth currently, and it's really hard to get people to drop what they believe in if you don't understand why they believe in it or what they believe in. So the best way for us or one of the best ways for us to kind of like push people towards Christ is sometimes by infiltrating the culture that's already there and then removing it, like going from the inside, if that makes sense. Like sometimes it's hard to do everything from the outside. So you have to be not in the middle of it. This doesn't mean now go in and be engaging in things that you're not meant to engage in, but that understanding or like knowing why people enjoy what they enjoy, and then from there, like dropping our culture, and then hoping that from the inside it blossoms like a flower.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I hear that.
Yeah. Were you about to say something, Susanna?
No. I just like the picture blossoming like a flower.
Yeah.
But then, do you feel I agree on a level, but then do we need to look like secular entertainment to be able to make those changes, to be able to kind of infiltrate, like you were saying, and to look relevant for people to receive it?
Not necessarily, but if we take, for example, music, obviously, as Christians, we love our worship music, we love our praise, all of that. But the secular music industry is extremely big and they have extremely talented people. So I don't think there's a problem with listening to secular music to gather influence and then to now pull that into gospel music. Now, that isn't to say like, okay, so I'm not someone that essentially agrees with gospel drill. I don't know if you guys know what that is.
Yeah. What's gospel drill?
What's gospel drill? Really? You don't know it?
No, I don't.
So drill is a genre of music
A genre.
Is it,
you came for me for a
genre. No, that's what. Sorry.
Just from then genre.
How do you pronounce it?
Genre.
Don't worry, he's from East London.
To be honest.
Okay. But drill is a type of music that originated in like Chicago, and it's kind of brought its way over to the UK. It's actually found itself in quite a few countries now. But it's kind of it's a type of music that isn't known for it's like beats or anything, but rather it's lyrics. Yeah. It's quite a violent genre in the sense that a lot of people are talking about killing enemies and gang wars and stuff like that. Now, there are some people who have said, okay, because it's like, okay, so for example, right now in the UK, it's probably, in terms of the UK urban music culture, it's probably the second biggest type of music under what we'd call Afro swing. Drill is on a very big rise. So a lot of people have said, oh, we're going to try and use that by and bring it to the glory of God by creating gospel drill. But I feel like that can't work because drill is essentially known for its lyrics. Yeah. So you can't now take violent lyrics and turn it. I don't know. I'm killing all my enemies with it can work, but I don't think it's effective.
David would have loads of violent lyrics if you go through the Psalms about gutting his enemies and splaying their entrails and breaking their teeth. So, I mean, it could be done. I just don't know whether it's beneficial.
Yeah, I don't think that's the thing. I don't think it's beneficial. So, drawing influence there, I would say no. But, for example, looking at how, I don't know, so we do have gospel hip-hop. You have gospel jazz, things like that, taking influence from these majority... Is that a word? Majority?
I don't think that's a word.
No, just majority.
I want to start again. Something like jazz, or no, okay, let's take hip hop because hip hop is very known. Yeah. Something like hip hop that has its own kind of culture, it has its own kind of like beats and things like that, taking influence from that and now making it gospel, so people who listen to gospel aren't just stuck with your slow songs and your fast songs. They actually have a variety. I feel like that's good. I feel like that's okay. I feel like that's excellent.
Okay. I mean, like, so yeah, as Toye mentioned, I'm of Jamaican heritage and I lived in Jamaica for a while. So I love bashment, bashment. I actually wanted to be a dancehall queen.
Wow.
God, I did. I'm sorry. I did.
No
Me
way.
and Chevelle Franklin, like, that was my, like, literally, dancing, head top, all that. And then I met Jesus, and
Praise the Lord, you met Jesus.
Can you imagine?
God.
Can you imagine? I met Jesus, and and I was great with being saved and all this revelation that I was getting. And people thought it was really helpful bringing, like, bashment gospel. And to me,
I need to hear
I mean, apart from it, like, not being the same quality as the dancehall artists that I'm used to, if I'm going to hear a bass line, I don't know if you can drop it for Jesus. I'm just saying, like, it's really not about... that's all I'm hearing. So you could be singing, blessed be the name of the Lord, but all I'm hearing is, doof, doof. I'm going to drop. So... it wasn't for me.
But I feel like that goes back.
I
feel like that goes back to knowing when enough is enough.
No, 'cause I'm on the same tip as Sonja.
Oh.
Absolutely.
2v1.
There is something that your flesh responds to and your old self comes alive.
Yeah.
And, and so when I got saved, I was like in my early 20s. So I had done the going out, whatever the worldly stuff. And no one told me, Susanna, you need to stop doing this. You need to stop. I just found that the closer I got in my relationship with God, the more time I spent with him, I used to swear like a trooper. Like, every other word was foul.
Such a northern phrase. I've never heard that. Swear like
What's
a trooper.
like a soldier in the army.
That's
Like, honestly, my mouth was, it's now sanctified and I praise Jesus. So I was completely different, but no one told me, Susanna, you need to stop wearing this, stop speaking like this, stop listening to this, stop going here. But the more I found myself in this relationship with God and the deeper it got, those desires to be around that music, certain people, they just fell off. And there's a reason for that. There is a reason that our ears start to feel offended even at certain things, and you become sensitive to swear words or certain kinds of language. And I feel like if it didn't matter to God, then that wouldn't be the result. I could still then hear a bass line or a 90s R&B track and be like, it's all right, I still feel completely holy and sanctified. But we're supposed to be walking out our own salvation. And we have a responsibility to kind of consecrate ourselves continually, because like that good word says, the enemy is a crouching lion that's continually looking for somebody.
So then,
Go on.
So with that in mind, at a Christian wedding, for example, let's look at the reception, where it's typically a party. Is it what music is supposed to be played then?
At my party, I had 2 hours of worship. We had 2 hours of live worship, and then we did have a live band singing.
And your party
it was off the
amazing.
Chain. If I say so myself. And even though I missed 3 hours of it.
Might need a couple more references rather than just you.
Everyone that mattered. But yeah, but then we had a live band playing music. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that all secular music is bad.
Yeah.
Most of the most brilliant musicians came from church. You'll find a lot of them, raised
Whitney
in the
Houston.
church and went out. Yeah, no, legit. Like, so, and music is of God.
Yeah.
Essentially,
Before anything, it's godly.
I'm telling you, it's just been bastardized. And that's not a swear word. That's an authentic word. It has been, tainted. I'm just people looking, watching Paul. Okay, it has been changed by the world. It's been changed, and like so part of me, what I'm hearing from you, I'm like, I get the reclaiming of it, but I don't know, now I'm too sensitive to certain things that I can't hear it. For example, my son is very much into the arts and entertainment. And he is a worship pastor currently. But like, he listens to this guy, Tyler, the Creator. It's in the name. From him calling himself Creator, I'm not interested. But there's this song that he loves called Igor's Theme. And it starts off with this weird sort of white noise thing. And it's going on for ages. And literally my skin is crawling. And I'm like, this feels horrible to me, where he's like, oh my goodness, the artistry of this is amazing, and da-da-da-da-da. And I can't get how he can still listen to that.
Yeah.
So I just think it's where you're at, and it's not that he doesn't love Jesus, or that he isn't, but I don't know, maybe just there are just certain things that I can't hear or be around, or
I think,
do you know what I mean? I can't consume.
But I think with things like that, even in entertainment in general, because there's not necessarily strict commandments about them, a lot of it comes down to conviction. And conviction, for the most part, is personal. So what you might be convicted of, someone else might not be.
For sure.
So like, I know a lot of people who will tell you, I can listen to this kind of music because when I listen to it, as a musician, I'm not hearing the lyrics, I'm listening to the beat, I'm listening to the rhythm. Yeah. And there are some people that say it as an excuse, but there are a lot of people that say it and they actually mean it. Like, sometimes I am that person. There are times I listen to the lyrics, but there are times where tunes are playing and all I'm hearing as a drummer is legit the beat of the song. Like, if you tell me to recite the lyrics, I can't tell anything, but tell me to hum the song to you, every little thing, I'm there. So in that case, like, I get what you're saying in terms of how certain things make you feel horrible, and like as you go deeper into your walk with Christ, like you said, your ears become offended to certain things. But I just feel like sometimes, like, I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, if I saw a believer banging out 90s R&B, I wouldn't look at them sideways for it.
Oh yeah, not at all.
It depends the song though. Depends on
there
the
are
song.
some nice
Would you be
R&B
looking at? I won't be
songs,
looking
they're
at. I don't believe in judging anyone.
I would. No, yeah, same. I wouldn't be looking at you sideways, but I think the lyrics say a lot. You know, there's a reason we have to protect eyes, ears, hearts, because I do really think it's very influential to then how you respond, and how you start to perceive things, and also people as Christians. Non-Christians are watching us. Now, if I'm at that wedding you're talking about and they start dropping some like tunes and I go back into early 20s Susanna and I hit that dance floor, not fully dance hall queen styly, but not far off. Actually, I've got a story. So a number of years ago, I went to a wedding and the songs are really good. So it was just me and my friend got on the dance floor and I just was dancing, nothing too crazy either. Like, I didn't think it was crazy. So I'm just dancing away. A few hours later, we go get a drink and we're sat down. And this woman comes up to me and she starts chatting and she's like, oh, so my nephew's here and he'd like to come and have a chat, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, lovely. But, you know, I'm a Christian, so he'd have to be a Christian to even have that kind of conversation. And she just stopped and looked at me and she was shocked. She was like, oh, you're a Christian. And I was like, oh, wow.
That pain.
Wow. Honestly, for a few days, that was with me. I was like, just me on the dance floor, communicated something. And I don't want people looking at me and going, wow, I'm shocked that you're actually a Christian. And I think this is why I'm so protective, I guess, of what I allow to influence me, because not only for my own walk, but there's people watching me. And I don't want to kind of say, you know, I don't want that reaction of them being surprised. You know, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite.
But then couldn't you argue that, for example, in that scenario, it wasn't the fact that secular music was playing, but more that you lacked self-control?
Wow.
Not to throw shots, but I mean, like,
if my name was Susanna, I would have that.
Not to throw shots, I mean, like, so for example, like, I feel like there's a difference between constantly taking something in, and then it will have an effect on how you think, how you perceive things. That's a fair point. And hearing it like once in a blue moon. So, okay, there was a year, remember, I want to say like when I was in year 10 or year 11, where I'd convinced myself, Raphael, secular music is bad, and I deleted every single secular song on my phone.
But I'm not saying secular music's bad.
Yeah, no, but just for for the scenario, yeah. So I all I had on my phone was worship and praise and gospel music, and so the only time I would hear secular music would be when I'm at a party or a wedding, or I'm in someone else's car and they decide to play it. And I think I didn't have a problem with hearing it. Like sometimes I might be like, oh, I'm not in the mood for this, but it wouldn't, I didn't see it have an effect on me because it was legit. It wasn't consuming my mind. Everything that I was hearing was gospel. Was that on the odd occasion where I would hear something, but it was then up to me to be disciplined and to say, when I hear this, I don't now act like the old me or act the way my flesh wants to act.
But how do you know it's not?
That's what I was going to say. I think we tend to do this thing as Christians where we think that we're impervious to sin. That sin has to be this big, obvious thing in our lives. I don't think that the devil wants sin to be obvious. I think it's a lot more subtle than that. The example I always think of, that a brother of mine shared with me, it's like fishing. So since for the last 3,000 years or 2,000 years or so, humans have always fished, and we fish exactly the same way. It's all about, you put a bait, end of a stick, you throw it in the ocean, and fish is going to eat it and bite onto it, and they'll get caught. And it stayed the same for 2,000 years. At some point, you would think, why don't the fish just learn to not eat the bait? Surely they should know by now that something about this bait is problematic. But the thing is, fishes know bait is wrong. So you can watch videos on YouTube and documentaries that fishes know if they eat the bait, they're going to die. What they do is, and there's videos of this online, they eat around the bait. So they think, I'm not as dumb as my cousin who got caught by that fish last week. I'm smarter than him. I would just eat around the edges.
That's a word.
And I'm going to be okay. But what happens is they eat around the edges and eventually they get caught by the bait. And Christians do the same thing over time. We think, I'm not the same as my younger brother in the faith. I know way better than him. I can indulge in that music a little bit. I can watch that TV program. I can go to that party. I can dance a little bit provocatively. But sooner or later, that bait is going to catch you. And you're going to find yourself stuffed in a sardine tube in someone's house. So I hear that.
I hear that. No, I also hear that. I do. I think that changes a lot. I think that does change a lot. But I think then the question becomes okay, so for example, as you said that you don't have a TV, your entertainment, your form of entertainment is books. Yeah. So I think that's another thing we tend to forget, that or there's the idea that you become a Christian and fun disappears. Whereas you become a Christian and your definition of fun just changes.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point.
You can indulge in entertainment that is very godly or that is not harmful to your walk with Christ. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I know what I'm trying to say.
No, I definitely get you. Because I was speaking to a friend about this. Are Christians fun?
100%.
Do you actually have fun as Christians? So, because for example, with entertainment, Christian entertainment typically is just not that good.
It's not.
Actually not. Christian movies are terrible.
They're getting better.
They're getting better, but production value-wise, they're just not as good. Some Christian music, in large part, if I'm from a background where I love hip-hop or rap, I'm just not going to like
Christian hip-hop does not touch
worship. But why though?
That's a question. That's a very good question.
Thank you.
Because I don't know. But it just doesn't slap.
Is it the production? Is it I have not listened to Kanye's Christian album. Or is it Jesus is
King?
Jesus is King, and he had another one, Sunday Services.
Because I was a huge Kanye fan, and a lot of my friends who were saved, who have heard it, and it's they really wanted this to bang, and it didn't. It was praise God that it was about Jesus, but if you were to compare it to pre-Crazy Ye, it wasn't comparable. It was sad.
Is there a worldly sound that we've gotten used to, that we like, that it's not really then a case of Christian music not being great.
Just not what
it's sanctified. It's not supposed to be like worldly music.
Hey, come on, she's preaching, huh? Okay.
So then I think I'm going to throw that question back at you. Why don't you like Christian music as much as secular? Are you saved?
You're on blast now.
Yes, I'm
put you on blast.
Sandra, let's lay hands.
Get the olive oil.
All right. I mean, that's a very, very, very striking question that I'm gonna have to go home and think about.
But can I share something with you? It's more in terms of God has to do it. It's an analogy of something that happened recently. At our church, we've just had a corporate fast. And in breaking, I was going like hardcore. I was like, Jesus, I want more of you. So not only was I doing dry fast, when I was breaking my fast, I was breaking it with a Daniel style meal. So, because I was like, hardcore. But I was really enjoying the fast. No, I was just like, oh my goodness. I mean, I love meat. But I was just like, God, this is so amazing. But it behaved. I was really asking God, when something catches your attention, I'm like, why am I enjoying vegetable meals so much? And he said to me, I'm changing your appetite for things of the flesh.
So good.
When I say that thing lashed me, I just started to cry. And it's literally a God, he will literally change your appetite. And he changed my appetite because I was in hot pursuit of him. I was seeking him and wanting to go deeper in him. And that is me, who loved, that salad would be great if it had a side of chicken. Literally, I do not have a taste of meat. Physically, I don't know how long. I still have a fridge and freezer full of meat. So I'm hoping that, I've learnt my lesson and I can go back. But for now, I'm still...
Got it, I'm good,
I got it. I get it.
I get it. I love you, I got you.
For now,
but I think that's so accurate.
That's
I think
good.
if you try and do it in your own strength, it's always going to be
impossible.
in vain. And it's like what I was saying before, my earlier walk with God, I just started disliking everything that was familiar to me as a non-Christian. Do you know what? I even got to the point where obviously I had friends that were not saved, and then I'm now in a church and I've got friends that are saved. And it got to the point where I started to dislike going out, what I was saying before. But then I just felt like I was in limbo. And I didn't feel like I belonged in either camp. But then I think some people kind of feel in limbo, feel uncomfortable, and then head back to the things that they're comfortable with and know, rather than kind of pushing forward. And I think what you were saying before is valid. Maybe it depends where you're at in your faith. And I think if I didn't kind of keep pressing on, maybe the things of the secular world would still be entertaining to me. But so I think...
So then with this, I believe it, but with this idea that it's God that changes your appetite, that you can't do it in your own strength. If a new Christian says, hey, I'm on this pursuit of Christ and I know that the things I like now are not of God and I need to get rid of them, would you say just seek Christ and he will do it for you, or would you tell them to take steps to get rid of it?
That's a very good question. I think a lot of the issue is, I think a lot of Christians know that there are problems with entertainment. I think everyone knows that. It's nothing new. Christians know we should be careful, but we just don't do it. I mean, just actually don't. I can confess in my life you don't. Because entertainment of the world is good.
It's great.
The movies are good, the music's good. So why, I guess the kind of last thing to round up, why don't we, or what kind of guidelines or principles do you have in your life that you would recommend to a brethren who's struggling? What would you say? What's helped you in the past about how you engage with entertainment, or what rules you kind of have?
I've just started kind of spending time with this young person that's new to faith. And one of her first questions was, do I need to give up this, and that? And I said, no. I think what you need to do is just start reading more of the word, start praying more, and let Jesus do it. Because I think if I was to start saying, yes, you need to stop going out on a Saturday night and she's doing it for me. Yeah. She's not doing it out of a place of affection and out of a place of revelation. I'm not here to give her revelation. Jesus is. Come on. And I don't want her relying on me and my words. I want her to rely on whatever she's got from that relationship she's building with Jesus. So I think Yeah, my position is I wouldn't be telling people you can't do X, Y, Z. Yeah. I don't tell my own children that. What I do tell them is, if the lyrics you're listening to don't affirm your faith and don't build you up in the place of purity and holiness, is it something that you want to listen to? And I let them make their own decisions. Because, I think at the end of the day, I think the core of this is, if you're not protecting your holiness and your purity, then maybe you need to step back and make that the fundamental thing.
I like that.
Can we quote that on Twitter? We're gonna get that in the break app and quote it.
I like that.
Yeah. So any kind of final thoughts as we wrap up?
I think it takes a lot of honesty, a lot of intentionality to say, like, I think as humans, not even as Christians, as humans, we like to lie to ourselves and, like you said, convince ourselves that we're better than what we are, we're stronger. Like, no, I can watch that, it's okay. If it gets too much, I'll turn it off, I'll skip it. But you have to be, you know what I'm saying? But you have to, it takes that honesty to say, listen, like, this is something I know I struggle with.
Yeah.
So it's either, okay, so for example, when I knew I was struggling with not listening to any kind of gospel, all I was consuming was secular music. I knew that it wasn't a thing where I just had to force myself to listen to worship. I had to actively get rid of music that wasn't good for me for a time where to a time where I could see both and I could choose gospel. Like, I could now, I don't know the English, like, section it, if that makes sense. Like, before, if I saw gospel and secular, I'm picking secular. Whereas now, if I see gospel and secular, more time I'll pick gospel. But there are days where I'll pick secular. But even then, like, knowing that there's times where I'll pick secular and my spirit's just like, nah, this isn't what you want.
Drop
like,
that. Put that down.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so for example, me, I'm someone that is I don't shower without music. And even yesterday, I remember I got into the shower and I said, okay, there's new albums all around in terms of UK. So I don't know if you guys have heard of a guy called Heady One. No. But he's a UK drill artist.
Okay.
Yeah, he released a new album. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to it because everyone was talking about it on Twitter that it's great. So I was like, yeah. I listened to the first song. I didn't even get away halfway through, and something was like, this is not it. So I had to go and put on worship. Oh, that was actually this morning. Oh, this morning.
Would you look at that?
Yeah, would you look at that? But yeah, like, and I think that has come from a place of, like, because I took secular music away from myself for so long, I was able to actually hear God and, like, I don't know if I'm making sense, but hear him in that time, for him to be able to say, like, listen, this isn't what you should be listening to. Whereas before, it was all I knew. No matter who said, don't listen to it, go to listen to it.
And there's really a sermon in there already about how, like, in periods of consecration, God's voice speaks louder. So Jesus went to the wilderness and he met with God there. Or kind of the beatitude, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. There's something about when you consecrate yourself, when you make yourself alien or different, you get to see God for who he is, and God's voice is louder. So that's beautiful.
Someone gave the heads up this morning, didn't it?
That's an inside joke for those of you listening. And then, Sonja, any last closing remarks?
I don't actually. I think it's all been put on the table.
Okay, I see what you did there.
Think about it. What? Don't leave me.
Well, yeah, thank you guys so much for coming to the table today. And thank you guys also at home for listening in. We do hope you were truly blessed and edified. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, like it, leave a comment, share it with your friends and all of that good stuff. But yeah, thank you once again, and we'll see you next week.